How's it going, everyone? Just wanted to welcome everyone catching the replay. We are talking about reselling here and why we think small sellers are leaving the eBay platform. For those of you that are here live, thank you for coming in. If you have any questions about thrift stores, garage sales, yard sales, eBay, anything regarding reselling, you can go ahead and put them in the comments and we will get to them. But we wanted to talk a little bit about why so many small sellers are leaving eBay and if they actually are. I actually did a video on this in March before the summer slowdown, talking about how we as sellers need to adapt and how this is going to actually be an amazing opportunity for those of the resellers that stick around, because many smaller resellers will be giving up during this summer slowdown, which many have. I've had an opportunity to buy out a ton of smaller eBay resellers because they have stopped selling on eBay and stopped doing reselling completely. Many of these buyouts are because people are transitioning in their lives. They are starting a new career, or they just had a baby, or they're just getting married. But others are actually giving up on reselling part-time, full-time, whatever they were doing. A lot of opportunities have come up to where I've been able to buy in bulk a lot of items that I have been able to resell in bulk and also as individual items onto eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. Some of the people that are leaving eBay aren't leaving reselling behind completely, but some have been going over to Poshmark and Mercari and Amazon and doing things differently on different platforms. If any of you in the chat today are thinking about or have left reselling, please put in the comment section why you have chosen to left reselling. I believe that right now is an amazing time to be an eBay reseller and just a reseller in general because of many different factors. One being, I believe that the used market will continue to grow. The reselling market will continue to grow. As people have economic challenges, their belts tighten, and instead of buying the new vacuum, they buy the parts necessary to repair their other vacuum that isn't quite working. Instead of buying brand new sunglasses for their trip to a beach destination, they're buying used sunglasses, frames only, and then going to a mall or to their optometrist to put in their own lenses. A lot of people, instead of buying the new blender, they just buy the same blender that they've used in used condition off of eBay because they're able to get it for significantly cheaper. You're always going to have the consumer consuming in the United States. History has proven that over and over again, that even in rough economic times, we continue to spend money, we continue to put ourselves into debt, and we continue to consume day in and day out, no matter what economic trials we face. But many people have come in, just like every industry in the world, they come in with a ton of excitement, thinking that everything is going to be very easy and hunky-dory, and then they realize that it's not as easy as they thought it would be. And a large section of the population that tries out eBay reselling drops off within the first week, first month, first 6 months, and definitely in the first year. This has a lot to do with human psychology. It has not a lot to do with eBay or with reselling in general, but just people coming in thinking that this is an amazing side hustle that's going to be life-changing with zero to no effort, and then they realize, oh, I actually have to put in effort to do this, and they quickly bow out. Many people start this journey and stick with it and make more money than they ever have and really enjoy the work-life balance of reselling, and that percentage stays on for years and years and sometimes even decades and decades, but the majority of people who start something never make it to year 3. I am actually coming up on year 3. In December of this year, I will have been doing this for 3 years. The average person does not do something for 3 years straight, especially when it comes to making a career change, especially when it comes to doing a side hustle or going out on your own into entrepreneurship. So why do we think that people cannot commit to doing something for more than a month, 2 months, 3 months? who do we place the blame on for people coming in and then exiting quickly? And I'm not just talking about eBay and reselling specifically, but this has to do with people that do day trading, that do door-to-door sales, that try to do DoorDash, that do all the gig economy jobs. People try to start a lawn mowing service or a landscaping company, and then they quickly drop off from it. We have this thing within our nature that we just want things to be incredibly easy and to be incredibly fast. And unfortunately, that's not what eBay reselling is about, and it's not what anything worthwhile is about in our lives. So unfortunately, I have a video coming out about the psychology of this soon, but there is always going to be slow sales on eBay. Always. Because 80% of the sales go to 20% of the sellers, and the 80% that is only working with 20% of the sales is always much louder than the 80%, than the 20% that's consuming all of the 80% of the sales. When things aren't going your way, it's human nature to have angst and to want to express that to others in a negative way. And unfortunately, it leads to people complaining and scaring others, and then a lot of people actually leaving the platform. What do you guys think? Do you think that right now is a hard time to be selling on eBay? A quick taste, I guess, of my next video. I do a video about how Daily Refinement had a video 6 years ago talking about slow eBay sales. And Rake and Profit had the same video 11 years ago. And Harry Tornado had one 4 years ago. And Rally Roots had one 6 years ago. And I did one a year ago. And Kevin the Commonwealth Picker did one 2 years ago. And there's some other smaller accounts that did them 8 years ago, 9 years ago. The thing about slow sales on eBay honestly doesn't have a whole ton to do with eBay. And I know that really upsets people when I say that. But really what it takes to get sales on eBay or to make money in any side hustle or business or entrepreneurship, it comes down to the person trying to acquire the money. Because when we live in a capitalistic society, which we do, no one forces another to give them money unless they break the law, unless they are, threatening you or doing or getting money from your pocket in an illegal way. All transactions are voluntary. The reason why these big companies and these big CEOs have money is because they have convinced the consumer to give them their money. No one forced me to buy an $1,100 iPhone. I voluntarily gave up my $1,100 in exchange for the product and the service of the iPhone. Those people, Tim Cook is really good at acquiring money by convincing you and us to give him our money. Same thing applies when it's on eBay. If you can find the items that people are willing to give you their money for, if you can present them in a way that people are willing to give you their hard-earned money for, you will get more sales. And if you can't find the items that people want, and if you don't list them in a way that they want, that they try to look for them, then you're not going to get money on eBay. So people coming and leaving eBay is going to be the most consistent thing in the world. More consistent than sales, or more consistent than slow sales or fast sales, is going to be people trying and exiting the platform repeatedly over and over and over and over again, because that is human nature and it's our psychology. There is definitely periods of time where people spend more money and people spend less money. There are definitely years where people spend more money than previous or future years. There are tons of factors that can make your sales go up and down between 5 and 40%. But the reason why a lot of people leave the platform is because they haven't yet acquired the skills necessary to sell on eBay. Then there's a demographic of people who have found a ton of success selling on eBay, but they don't quite have the skills necessary to adapt to the changes of the platform, of the consumer, and of the economy. So What you were doing 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago may have been working then, but it may not be working now. And instead of adapting to those changes, many of us want to believe that what we are doing is still going to be profitable, when in all reality, sometimes it isn't. And because we aren't willing to make that change, we don't make money. We blame eBay, we blame the economy, we blame the consumer, and we leave the platform. When really all it takes is, a lot of people really get upset with me when I say this too, but if you take responsibility and blame for everything in your life, everything, I promise you'll be more successful and you'll get more done. If, actually with a caveat, if you can first learn to love yourself. If you can learn to love yourself and take care of yourself, and then take blame for everything good and bad that happens into your life, you will lead a successful life. If you hate yourself and then you accept blame for everything that you do, then it will become very toxic and detrimental and insecure. But if you can get to a point where you really love yourself, and then you accept all of the failures in your life, what you're going to do is, instead of blaming other things for the failures, the only person you can blame is yourself. Then you can get to work on yourself, and you can get to work on your issues and problems. A lot of people don't have the ability to blame themselves for the slow sales in their eBay business, or their lawn care service, or their Facebook marketing agency, or the manipulation in the market, why they can't day trade and cover shorts and calls and all that stuff. It really comes down to who we are. If we want to have fast sales on eBay, we can make that happen. But the work that is involved in becoming a better salesman, a better person, is very difficult. And instead of doing what's necessary to increase our sales on eBay, we just leave the platform. We just say, I'm going to try Uber, or I'm going to try lawn care service, or I'm going to, what are popular side hustles right now? I'm going to try vending machines. I'm going to try all these different things. And some of those things may work for people, but what's really hard for people is to understand that the reason why they may have slow sales is most likely because of them, and because of their items, and because of their titles, and because of Okay, I'm here on my laptop now. The audio probably changed a bit. Let me get back to my screen here. Geez Louise. Focus, personal. Boom. Can you guys still hear me good? Let me get back to my phone, so that way the audio is a bit better. Enter studio. All right, you guys ready to see my face like twice? This will be fun. Enter studio. I normally do this. Oops. Boom. Okay, sweet. All right, excellent. Lost my train of thought, but basically what I'm trying to say is, in order to get better sales on eBay, you yourself have to become a better salesperson. And the easiest way to become a better salesperson isn't by learning tips and tricks on eBay, but it's actually by creating better relationships with your family members and the people most important to you. It's better to get out of debt and be financially free. That is going to... audio is actually better on the laptop than the phone, really? It's interesting. Very interesting indeed. But yeah, I'm going to talk about it in my next video a little bit more, but if we want to get more sales on eBay, we have to become better people ourselves. We have to increase the content of our character. I truly believe that if you read The Richest Man in Babylon, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Human Beings, Atomic Habits, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the Psychology of Money, those 6 books, read those 6 books, and you will increase your sales on eBay much quicker than you would listening to my YouTube channel, Tech and Sports YouTube channel, Daily Refinements YouTube channel. Much quicker will you increase your pocketbook and how much money you have in your bank by reading those 6 books than to listening to anyone on eBay giving out specific tips for eBay and reselling. I truly believe that if you better yourself, you'll better your bank account much quicker than if you try to better your business. Because as you better yourself, if you become a rock star, man, things really start turning around. All right, let's dive into some questions. If you guys have any questions, sorry for my 15-minute TED Talk. Thanks everybody for coming out to it. If you guys have any questions about eBay and reselling, I'd love to answer those for you guys. These are my favorite things. These are my favorite things to talk about these are my favorite videos. I just like to answer questions and hang out with you guys. So Final Guardian says, I've been feeling like quitting, having a crap time due to low feedback, customers buying and breaking stuff. Yeah, so in this video that I'll be dropping, I share this story. Sorry guys, okay, having a little bit of technical difficulties, but things should be good now. I share this story where there was this entrepreneur who worked in e-commerce, and he built $100 million business. They were doing hundreds of thousands in sales every single day. And it was much like an eBay or Amazon business. Different though, because it was his own brand and he was shipping things out. But he was shipping out thousands and thousands of items every single day. And he had a corporate sales manager and then a corporate employee training manager. One day he realized that they were having about 4 defects per day. These defects were shipments getting to the wrong address or getting to the correct address late. It was titles and descriptions having small errors, things like that. When you're selling thousands of products a day and you only have 4 defects in a huge $100 million business, that's incredible. This owner went to these 2 managers and said, I'm going to continue to pay you your exact salary, and every 30 days that you have 0 feedback, 0 defects, you will get an additional $5,000 bonus. Now, these 2 employees immediately started complaining because they're like, we already run a tight ship. All of the defects that happen are outside of our control. It's because FedEx didn't make a delivery, or it's because of this, it's because of that. It's all of these things outside of our realm of capacity. It's not our fault that these things are happening, so we shouldn't have our bonus dependent on that. And the CEO said, no worries, I'm still going to be paying you the exact same amount of money you're making right now. And if you so happen to make that sure that there are 0 defects, you'll get a $5,000 bonus. So they were averaging about, what's 4 times 30? 120 defects per month. The first month of them running this experiment, they got that all the way down to 16. And on the second month, they got their $5,000 bonus, even though it was things they could not control. Now, I'm not saying through this example that we can control everything and that we can make it so all of our customers don't break stuff and scam us, right? But there are extra things we feel like are outside of our control that aren't. The 2 managers ended up giving keynote speeches about this in Harvard and Yale. And they said that what happened was they immediately started to make deeper connections with their employees, and they developed deeper connections with the men and women coming to pick up packages from their facilities. And they created a new app that was able to communicate with FedEx and USPS and UPS. And it developed a more integrated tracking system for their company that they were able to make almost for free. And they were able to overcome these non-controllable defects in an effective way. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if we just accept responsibility for everything that happens to us, even when it's outside of our control, we're going to decrease the defects in our lives and in our businesses, and the ones that actually stick around, because there will be defects that you just cannot remove. You can feel comfortable knowing that those truly were outside of your control. And when they are truly outside of your control, they are so infrequent, you're making so much money that this $17 defect doesn't matter because you made $7,000 today. Or this $17 defect doesn't matter because you made $600 or $700 that day. So yeah, taking responsibility for everything that we do. I truly believe in that, and it really has helped me in my life and in my business, also in my relationships, and it's been awesome. How sketchy is it to buy AirPod lots off of eBay? Is there a lot of fakes? Yeah, don't do that. So Jonathan, I get all of my AirPods from casinos because they are lost and found. Okay, so of those, like, let's say I get 100 AirPods, the average, like, I'd say probably 70% of people buy authentic ones and 30% buy fakes. And so only about 30, sometimes 40, but also sometimes 20 are fakes from a lost and found. But if you're buying a lot off of eBay, sheesh. I haven't done it. You can try it out, but I'm just assuming that the majority of those are going to be fake and defective or have issues. So I feel comfortable buying remote control lots and digital camera lots and things like that off of eBay. But AirPods, I probably wouldn't do that. You can try it out though. Just try to start with a low budget so you don't get burned. And you can report back if you decide to do it. I'd love to hear about it, but yeah, I just don't see that one going very well. Good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. Appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to try to get to, I've been talking for 21 minutes and we have a ton of questions. So I'm going to try to get to those. Thanks everyone for saying hi. I really appreciate everyone being here. And if you guys have any questions about reselling, about business, if you guys want to talk about taxes and stocks, I'd love to talk about the stock market and housing market right now with everything going on. The last few days have been pretty crazy. Crypto is doing this, and it's huge declines in the stock market over the weekend and yesterday, and looks like today we've hit a slight rebound. So yeah, I'd love to talk about anything that you guys want to talk about: finances, eBay, business in general, anything you want. It says, my favorite thrifting YouTuber, Magical Word of Thrifting, just announced that she's going part-time thrifting. Oh, wow. Who is that? Magical World of Thrifting just announced she's going part-time thrifting. I wonder why. I wonder if it's business related or family related. I'll have to check out that video and see what's going on. Hope all is well. Thanks for being here, Bama Jayberg Resells. All right, let's see. Thanks everybody for saying hi. I have a buyer pays for returns, but the last 2 returns I've had, eBay has made me pay for the label. Is it because of the return reason? Exactly. Yep. So there are basically 2 categories of returns. The first is pretty much your fault, and then the other one is their fault or buyer remorse. So if the buyer remorse reasons are just didn't like it, didn't fit, there's multiple reasons. And then the other ones that are considered your fault are item not as described, wrong item sent. What's another one? Item arrived broken, things like that. And so on those ones, you're not able to get the buyer doesn't pay the return shipping because eBay deemed that as your fault, your mess up, and so you have to pay for the shipping on that. But if they put just didn't like item or didn't fit, then they would be paying the shipping in that instance. My first week of reselling was great. I sold 6 items, but since then, which was 10 days ago, I haven't sold anything. Suggestions? Yeah, CJS. So you listed all of your stuff and the good stuff sold. And then the stuff that didn't have demand, didn't have high sell-through rate, didn't have data backing it, is sitting in your shop. This happens a lot in seasoned resellers, and especially in beginners. We buy and sell things that we like instead of buying and selling things that other people want. So even though the Eagles might be your favorite band and you would love to have an Eagles cassette, doesn't mean that an Eagles cassette is a great selling item on eBay. There's hundreds of those listed, and they usually go for about $2 to $5 plus shipping, and they usually take months and months and months and months to sell. So you had 6 items that had extremely high demand while your other items didn't have that demand. Those 6 have sold. And now you're just left with your baseline foundation of kind of junkier items that people aren't interested. So What you need to do is keep watching what sold videos, and what I would do. Okay, wait, you guys ready? Let's do some fireworks. Wait for that to go away. Boom. Wow. I would recommend you need to keep watching what sold videos. I have a ton of those. A bunch of other YouTubers have those. And then I also recommend going to the thrift store and looking up, like, everyone has different time. Everyone has different schedules. But next time you can go to the thrift store for 3 hours, I would recommend going to the thrift store for 3 hours and going up and down every single aisle of the thrift store and looking up every single item you find. And that's going to teach you what actually sells and what actually doesn't, and what you need to be looking for. So a lot of times we get distracted by, I love basketball cards, and I personally love Mehmet Okur. He was a basketball player, a center for the Utah Jazz in like 2008 through like 2013. I would personally buy his basketball card, but other people aren't. And there's not enough demand for people that like Mehmet Okur to buy his basketball cards on eBay. But there is a demand for people to buy Michael Jordan basketball cards. But there are huge print lines of certain Michael Jordan basketball cards, that there are so many of them and they're so readily available that people aren't buying them on eBay. And at the same time, there are very short print Michael Jordan basketball cards that people will pay literally hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to have. So that's our job as resellers. Almost every single CD you find out in the wild isn't going to sell for $10 shipped. But it's our job as resellers to find those CDs that sell for that, that sell for more than that. That's what our job is. Same with clothing, same with glasses, same with vacuums, same with shoes, same with toys, same with cassettes, same with everything that we sell on eBay. Blankets, pillowcases, everything. How long do you wait for a buyer to pay after you accept an offer? I have a buyer that hasn't paid yet, and it's been almost a week since I accepted their offer. I had it set to 4 days. You can go to your eBay business policies, and you can select, I think the selections are 24 hours, 48 hours, 4 days, or 7 days. I have mine set to 7 days. So they have 7 days to complete the purchase. If they don't, then I have it automatically relisted into my eBay store. I just barely sold some very expensive perfume for $200. I sold it on an offer for $170. They never paid, and then it just got relisted into my store a couple days later. I didn't get to meet you in person last week. What was your best find of the 127? Yeah, I wish I could have met a bunch more of you guys. The 127 was really fun. I didn't hit like any huge bangers, but I got hundreds and hundreds of items that I'm going to be putting into my eBay shop over the next few days, which is awesome. I got a ton of cool cameras, some flat irons, some remotes, the typical stuff. I also got some cool pocket knives and a ton of just really cool things that are going to be selling for good money on eBay, which is great. Wow, let's look at this. Benito with the, is that a Canadian $6.99? Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Says eBay IP banned me for no reason. Reddit says it's common, no fix. Called eBay, new account will be banned too. No idea on what to do. Benito, that's tough. That's tough. Maybe it was, were you selling? Here's an easy way to get banned on eBay. List hundreds and hundreds of the same skewed new product. I'm not sure if that's what you did, but if you listed like 100 Calvin Klein sealed new perfume, they probably thought you stole that from a Walgreens in San Francisco, and they banned your account. That's a really common one, especially for new people. That's why I definitely recommend people buying things piece by piece in used condition, one item at a time at the thrift store. A lot of people want to do pallets. A lot of people want to do storage units. A lot of people want to do retail arbitrage. A lot of people want to do lots on eBay. And you run into a lot of trouble of having all of these items, and eBay says, hey man, where'd you get that? And you say, from eBay. And they're like, okay, show us receipts from the original purchase. Oh, I don't have those. Okay. Yep. We don't know you, and so we have no base of your character. So yeah, unfortunately, we're just going to have to ban you. The risk is too high. So I don't know if that's what happened to you, if that was in your case, but unfortunately, these bans are permanent. And unless you have like a VPN or something like that to get around it, unfortunately, I just would start trying to sell on Poshmark and Mercari and Amazon and doing things differently than you did this time to get banned. But yeah, that sucks. I feel for you, man. Feel for you, Benito. Small seller here with big seller dreams. I'm not going anywhere. That's what I'm talking about, Shane. Zach says, oh, I already read that. I think I already read that too here. Everyone remember to put your questions in all caps in order for Jake to see them. Appreciate you, Jonathan. Jonathan's the GOAT. July was my best month, but I've only been reselling for 3 months, so my opinion should be an outlier. Yep. So when you're first starting and you're stacking your inventory and you're selling more and more and more and more, that's just going to happen from when you started. And then you'll eventually start to see the roller coaster with dips and peaks and valleys. I remember my first 18 months, I just kept breaking my previous month record month over month over month over month. It was awesome. I've been selling on eBay for 12 years with decent results. This has been my worst year. Sales are down 70%. Wow, Tony, 70% is a big deal. So going back to what I was saying earlier, Tony, this may be a time for you to self-reflect and say, you know what, maybe the items that I have been sourcing for the last 12 years just aren't working right now. And that may be a hard pill to swallow, and there may be these huge walls around you of like, it's really hard to accept that, but that may be the issue. Because on the other side of that wall is you blame eBay and you blame the economy and you blame the consumer, and your sales are still down 70% or worse. But if you say, you know what, I don't care what I think, I am going to be a positive skeptic, and I'm going to judge myself and see what I can be doing better, rip down everything that I know and all the strategies that I'm currently doing and outweigh them against other strategies and see if I am truly doing what's best. And a lot of times we learn that maybe we do need to make some changes. But if you don't make changes, you'll just continue to have 70% down sales, and that's not where we want to be in our business. Not at all. So it doesn't sound like you said that in a prideful or self-defeating way. It sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders. And so, Tony, I believe in you, and I think you're going to do great. Dragon Master Finds with the $10 super chat. I appreciate that, man. No need to do those super chats, though. Says, just got back from an amazing estate sale. Tons of vintage toys, some vacuums to part out. The vacuum part alone will be over $400 in parts, it looks like, and tons more after that left over. That's what I'm talking about, Anthony. You gonna make a YouTube video about it? Everyone click on Dragon Master Finds and go follow him. Go subscribe to him here on YouTube. And yeah, hopefully you were recording on a GoPro or at least a phone in your hand. And I'm going to guess that the vacuum parts were Rainbow SE. Let me know. Noah says, hey, I have a question. I saw the motor part and shipped it brand new. The customer just wrote me saying his mechanic said the part is bad. How do I go about this situation? A couple things you can do here. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to like this answer. They're going to return it, and it's going to be returned to you in used condition. If you are doing everything correctly on eBay up until this point, they're going to allow you to refund them only half for having it returned in a different condition than you sent it out. But you are going to have to refund them at least half of their order. Once you have your item back, you can relist it in used condition if it is worth it and if you deem it as working. What probably happened is, this happens in eBay Motors a lot, is they bought a piece for what they thought would fit a Dodge Ram 1500 08, but it goes to a Dodge Ram 1500 2011. So it's not your fault that it doesn't fit, but they're going to say it's your fault. And then you can say, hey, I shipped out a completely working item. I'm going to be giving them 50% refund. And then you can do with it what you'd like to after that. New seller here. Appreciate all the info you share. So helpful. I appreciate you, Tina. What's a realistic time spent per cross listing on flip, i.e. how many items per day is realistic? So I have my mom do this for me. I launched 25 items per day. Over the last several weeks, I've been launching about 70 per day to get up to around 3,000 active items. And my mom has been doing like 40 items my mom's been doing probably, I'd say, 30 items an hour. So that's about one listing every 30 seconds or so, right? So that's what one listing every 2 minutes. So at 2 minutes per listing, times however many listings you want to do, add breaks, add all that good stuff. Guys, it's getting hot in here. J-Ride, I've been waiting for a live stream a couple weeks so I can ask this. How did you end up with your 2.8% promotion rate? So I had a 2.6%. Not 2.8, it was 2.6. And what I did was, back when I first started promoted listings, the minimum was 1%. So I wanted to be just above the fold of the lowest. So I put 1.1%. And then I increased by 5 to 1.6. And I increased by 5 to 2.1. Then I increased by 5 to 2.6. And then I stayed there for a while. Then I went to below standard for some shipping issues, and my promoted listings were taken away. Now that I'm back to top rated, I am only doing 2.1%. So I am currently at 2.1% for my promoted listings. And this is what I recommend for everyone to do, is to start at 2 or 2.1% and then increase by 0.5% until you get to a point where you like the sales velocity. So you don't have to promote at 10%. You don't have to promote at 5%. You don't have to promote it dynamic, whatever. You just promote at the minimum until you can realistically gather enough data to say, I like the amount of sales I'm getting for the amount of extra promotions I'm giving. Or you can say, oh, I'd like a bit more velocity, so I'm going to increase it a little bit. And then you can just keep increasing it until you get to your sweet spot where you like the amount of money you're spending for the amount of money you're receiving through your sales. I had a buyer cancel after I printed the shipping label. I was like, okay. Then when I canceled and refunded the buyer, eBay charged me twice for the shipping label and the cancellation fee, so I lost $15. So that shouldn't have happened. You can call eBay and just describe to them that situation. Either you misunderstood something and maybe you didn't get charged the $15, or if you truly did, call eBay and they will refund that $15 for you real quick. Yeah, just give them a call and they'll make that right by you. Or maybe they already have and you just aren't completely understanding what's going on. And then if they don't give you your $15 back, burn them to the ground. Don't actually like incite violence against them, but like, yeah, light them up. Let them know. In the 10 days, I haven't sold anything. I have reached 40 active items. Okay, so typically you need like a good standard when you're having like a decent sell-through rate and you're focusing on high quality items is you will get one sell per day for every 100 items. If you have only low demand items, like there's really high demand CDs that will sell instantly at the right price and will sell relatively quickly at a decent price. And then there's CDs that just won't really sell at any price, but every once in a while someone comes along and clicks on your listing. So if you put like 5,000, if you went to the bins or a yard sale and you grabbed every single CD regardless of what band or artist it was, and you listed all 5,000 of those, you're going to have a roller coaster of very slow sales. If you handpicked the 19 that have a very fast sell-through rate, you're probably going to sell one of those every single day for the next 20. You're probably going to sell like 1 or 2 or 3 every single week until they're gone, right? So it comes down to the quality of your items, but typically if you're focusing on items that are in demand and people want, based on your circumstances, your area, your knowledge, and your grit and discipline, you should be selling about 1 per day for every 100 items you have listed. So you have 40. I'm just going to round that down to 33. You should be getting 1 sale every 3 days if you have a decent amount of quality items. So what this is telling me, 10 days of no sales with 40 items, you aren't listing items that have demand. So if you pivot, and right now you only have 40 items left, 40 items, so it's very easy to pivot. If you had 40,000 items, it'd be a much harder pivot, but you can still do it. Right now, you just need to say, I'm only going to buy items that have at least a 100% sell-through rate or higher, or 80%, or whatever it is, and only focus on those items, and you're going to start getting sales every single day. But if you just double to 80 and you have the same quality of items, you're still not going to get sales. And then once you finally get to like 500, 600, 700, then you're probably going to start to have one sale per day. But I've talked to a lot of people that have 3,000 active items and sell 1 or 2 per day. That's definitely not where you want to be at all. Already answered that one. Hello from Columbus, Ohio. That's what I'm talking about. I love Columbus. I wondered if you rely on the new Terapeak feature to research sell-through rate, or if you have that not as accurate as calculated manually through filters. I just use sold versus listed 90 days. So yeah, I never hop into the Terapeak feature whatsoever. I just have how many are listed divided by how many are sold, and that's it. And then whatever number that calculates is what I go off of. Let's see. Sorry I'm late. Can you point to me the direction of a place to buy bulk lots of cameras and eyeglasses? eBay.com. I have like 5 or 6 videos on this. It's on eBay. So if you just type in JRide Flips online sourcing, I have a few hours of how to do that already. So yeah, it's eBay.com. Oops. Let's see here. I already answered that question. I just upgraded to basic eBay store now. I get quarterly coupon. What size boxes do you keep on hand? I don't buy boxes. I get them all out of dumpsters from Kroger and Dollar Tree. I buy tape from eBay. Still having some conversations in the background. What about selling key fobs? Those are tough. I've sold some key fobs. They're high return. And if you don't specialize in key fobs, I probably wouldn't sell them on eBay. You totally can. It's up to you and your business. But there are just so many hurdles when it comes to selling key fobs on eBay. Like in the 127, I bought a Chevy key fob for $5 that should sell for about 70, and I'm gonna try to take a swing at it and see if I can figure it out. But yeah, a lot of times those get returned or they don't work, or they can't be paired or things like that. So tread lightly. You can definitely make a ton of money in it, but you have to know what you're doing. I started 2 months ago. No, reading Lord of the Rings. I mean, there's some principles that you can pick up from Lord of the Rings that you can apply in your daily life, but not too many. I started 2 months ago. I have to drive 45 minutes to my closest thrift store and 1.5 hours to multiple thrift stores. I've done 1,000 in 2 months by watching tons of your videos and learning. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's another thing that you can't control how close thrift stores are to you, but you have controlled how many you go to. You have made sacrifices in your life to be able to get to those thrift stores. You don't take no for an answer, and you're killing it. Congratulations. Keep it up. Honestly, you are the only channel that has talked about this, about the importance of loving yourself. I mean, there's definitely needs to be talked about more, and there are people that talk about loving yourself and making sure that you're okay. And especially outside of the niche, there's a lot of people. I definitely recommend a lot of people that do talk about that, like John Deloney, Sal DiStefano, a lot of cool guys out there. But it is very important to just be okay with who you are, because you got to build on, you are your foundation, and if you hate yourself, you're gonna have a crappy foundation. Let's see here. I know for a fact my imposter syndrome has been an obstacle for me and that's honestly, like, that's really self-aware of you and really cool. Keep being aware of that, and then just, I don't know, I talk about this on my channel every once in a while, but like, we're just pretty messed up as society. We really are. If I say only cool stuff, you are intelligent and you are smart and you're good at business and you're handsome, I am considered a good person for complimenting you. But the second that I say I am smart and I am good at business and I am handsome, I am no longer considered a good person, but I'm considered cocky and arrogant. And that's just so backwards, because if you can't compliment yourself, how are you going to love yourself? How are you going to actually appreciate who you are when you feel the societal pressure of saying I do think I'm awesome. Okay, so tell yourself you're awesome, man, because you are. And if people think you're cocky for it, who cares? Setting up shipping since USPS ground is this good. USPS first class for up to 3.5 ounces, and then ground advantage for 3.6 to 99 pounds, and then UPS for everything over 1 pound. Yep, that's a decent strategy. I do everything 8 ounces and under. I have a flat rate of $4.87. Everything from 8 to 15 ounces, I ship out at a flat rate of $5.87. Everything 2 pounds or under, I do ground advantage at a calculated 1 pound rate. And then everything from 2 to 4 pounds, I do at a ground advantage 2 pound calculated rate. And then everything over 4 pounds, I put in a 12 by 12 by 12 measurement with the accurate weight, calculated ground. Pointers on place to find bulk cameras and glasses, ebay.com. Been a rock star at his life, pointing that way. Who you pointing to, Shane? No, I'm just kidding. The comments are right here. You're pointing to me. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, buddy. How did you eventually settle? Oh, I already answered this. This is what happens when I go on 20-minute rants. Is everyone asks that question 3 times in a row? But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for supporting me. I will admit sometimes I come into these lives with like a kind of a stressed demeanor and sometimes in a bad attitude. And I admit that sometimes I come across as irritated or brash reading the same questions over and over again. And I just want to apologize for that because I do love answering questions. I love being able to help other people. And I don't mind when you guys ask me the same question over and over again. And I don't mind when new people that have never been here before ask me a question that I've answered in every single live stream. Please feel free to ask me anything about eBay, about business, about the stock market, or taxes, or self-help management, bringing on employees, thrifting, yard sales, Utah Jazz basketball, anything. Anything you guys want to ask me a question about, I would more than love to answer. How do you set up auto-calculated shipping? So that's a tough one to explain on here, but there's plenty of videos on YouTube about it, and then you can also Google business policies, flat rate shipping. I have a flat rate shipping video. The numbers that I use are outdated, but the information is still relevant. So if you just type in JRide flips, calculated shipping and flat rate shipping. I have several of those videos. We got another super chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I can put it on screen. Laws of Human Nature, $4.99. Thank you so much. Says, can you explain how a trust benefits anybody, and could I start with 10K? Also, do you pay quarterly towards your S Corp taxes or on a yearly basis? Finance videos. Finance vids coming soon. Sweet. Awesome. The first one, the trust is awesome. So trusses are cool because you can place assets underneath your trusses that the government and other entities can't touch. And then you can also declare those assets as gifts to your children. So let's say that I own a house. This is not financial advice. I'm just a 28-year-old guy sharing his opinions on finance, and do not do what I say, okay? If you have a house, if I had a house right now and I died, and then it went to my future son, and he sold that house, he would have to pay capital gains taxes on the gain of the house. So if we bought it for $180,000 and then 40 years later we sold it for $500,000, you would take $500,000 minus $180,000, and then you would pay taxes on that amount. Under a trust, I can gift it to my son, and even if he sells it, he doesn't have to pay capital gains tax on that because it's a gift. I am the CEO of my S corporation, and then my wife is a VP. So if anything happens to me, the business is hers, and she gets a lot of tax and business benefits from being in that trust that is under my S corporation. For taxes, I do pay quarterly taxes. So we just, every year and every quarter, I declare to my accountant what I think I'm going to make for the year and what I think I will make for the quarter. And then we set aside that amount of money and pay that. At the end of the year, if I made less than I thought I was going to, then the government cuts me a check for the taxes that I paid too much on. If I make more than that, then I write an additional check to the government for the money that I didn't think I was going to make. And then financial videos, I believe I will start a finance channel sometime in 2025. I don't think it'll be this year for sure, especially because we're moving in like 2.5 weeks. I don't know if I really announced that yet, but we're moving on the 23rd, and it's what, the 10th? Well, we're starting the move on the 23rd, and we'll be completely moved by the 31st. We'll be in, we decided on Syracuse, Utah, which is a bit north of Layton. We wanted to be in the Bountiful area, but we decided on Syracuse, and then I think we'll make it down to the Bountiful area eventually in a few more years. But yeah, so we'll be moving there, and with all of that going on, and with all of the vacations and the sourcing trips for the 127 and stuff, things have been pretty crazy. So I'll be making much more content for my current YouTube channels, and then once time frees up, I will start making finance YouTube videos as well, which I'm super excited for. But yeah, having a trust is awesome because it just sets up a lot of protections for you and your family, and it can build what's called generational wealth. The average American, unfortunately, isn't financially literate. And to become financially literate is actually a lot easier than you would think. All it is make more money than your bills and save that difference. Put it into a investment that is going to make money on your money, and just let that ride. Just live within a budget, let your money work for you. And a trust really helps with all that stuff. But I wouldn't recommend opening up an S corporation. The reason why you would open up an S corporation is to save money on income taxes. So if let's say I make $100,000 profit and I'm a single guy, that's probably going to put me in the 26% tax bracket. Plus I'm in Utah, so I got to give an additional 4.5% to the state. So I'm going to pay 30% in taxes. And I'm going to have to pay self-income tax. As an S corporation, I pay myself a reasonable salary. So let's say that I paid myself a reasonable salary of $100,000. I would pay my taxes on that $100,000, but then all of the additional money that I make on top of that, instead of paying at my tax bracket, which would actually probably put me into the 37% tax bracket, which would be wild. Instead of paying 37% tax on all of that, I just pay my 30% tax on my $100,000, and then I just pay 15% tax on a corporate level on everything above that. So it saves you a ton of income taxes, which is great. It's very great. Let's see here. I was bouncing around a little bit. Are you still going to have your honeypot locations where you move? Yeah, no, my in-laws are in northern Utah, and I make thousands of dollars per day every day I go up there. So if I go sourcing in northern Utah, I make thousands every single day. So I'm super pumped about it. So when I move up to northern Utah, I'm debating whether I'm going to 3x this operation or 5x it, or if I'm going to just double it and then focus more on content. I'm still deciding what I'm going to do with all of that. But yeah, I live in a town with 60,000 people, and I'm moving to an area that has 2.3 million people. So I'm going to be able to really, really up my sourcing and all that. Where do I find cheap boxes from? I get all my boxes from dumpsters for free. So if you can just go to Kroger or Dollar Tree and you get them all for free, or you can just buy them off of Amazon or Uline or Walmart, whatever you want to do. I already answered that one. You guys are answering each other's questions. I got a subscription to Deal Soldier. My question is, what is your favorite feature stores to flip online deals and in-store deals from Deal Soldier? Thanks. I really like to just go through run deals and general deals. And then I also am constantly refreshing, not constantly, but throughout the day, I'm refreshing the Amazon 70 to 90% off deals. A lot of times I'm able to get things off of Amazon that sell for like $30. but they're on sale for 90% off for some reason, and I buy a ton of those, and then I sell them for $25 on eBay. So just all of those online things. And then Walmart flips, Target flips, and TJ Maxx, Ross, and Burlington flips. That's probably the one I use the most for retail for sure. I've just been so busy with everything else going on in my life that I haven't done a ton of like the Walmart and Home Depot arbitrage. But I do walk into some TJ Maxx's and some Ross's and throw down. Let's see. I had 6 returns in the last 2 weeks from low feedback buyers claiming items were defective when they definitely were not. Even had an item is defective return for an item sold for parts and repair. Yep. So yeah, I put my items that are broken for parts or repair. I put in the title for parts. I put in the description, this camera is broken, and in like 3 different places it says for parts or repair not working, and then people get it and they say, hey man, this camera's broken, and they return it, and I do the return process, and I withhold 50%. I withhold the original shipping because the item was described properly. If they do any additional damage to it, I withhold up to 50%, but that is just the name of e-commerce business. Returns are a thing for any reason. So if people return your items, you just accept the item, you accept the return, and you move on. What I recommend doing is setting up your business to where that doesn't hurt you emotionally or financially. Obviously, it'll dig at you a little bit financially, but if you have your processes set up to where you're shipping out so many items per day, one return isn't going to hurt you. It's unfortunate and it sucks, but it's just part of the business. So what you can do to protect yourself is make sure that you're doing everything you need to do necessary on eBay to be in good standing. And then when those fraudulent returns come, you can withhold shipping and 50% of the value, but returns are part of the game. So Jay Red the man, thanks. My goal is to have 250 listing draft bank by the end of the year. I plan to photo 3 items and list 1 and draft 2 per day for the next 145 days. We'll mostly test and clean items over the weekend. That's awesome. If you are beginning, that is like the best way to start. It sounds like you have income coming in outside of eBay already, and so you're going to be able to just slowly get into this and get your feet wet. So it's going to be awesome. So yeah, it sounds like you have a really good plan. Deborah, you guys are having some conversations in the chat. Let's see here. Sorry, Jay, right? I've been answering the questions because people on the chat were typing them over and over again, and I wanted to give them my opinion. I hope you're okay with that. Yeah, of course. I want this also to just be a community where you guys chat amongst each other and help each other answer questions and all that stuff. So no worries. I've been reselling on eBay for a few months with minimal profit because I'm too young to drive to thrift stores and garage sales. My family takes me out sometimes, but should I just give up? No, man. I love that. Mark, I love that, man. Just keep building slowly over time. I mean, what else would you be doing, right? If you just when your parents have time or when your older siblings have time to take you out, just be very grateful and go with them. And then once you do have that car, just go wild. But yeah, I wish I would have started this when I was 13 or 14 or 15. It would have been awesome. But yeah, just keep building slowly over time. No worries. Don't give up. Or if you like just decide, hey, I can't get enough product, I'm just going to take a break for a while and then kind of just do a little bit here on the side, here and there, or whatever. I wouldn't give up completely. I would just keep doing this as a true side hustle. Whenever you have time, do it. Whenever you have opportunities to get to the thrift stores, do it. And then, go from there. Do you sell on District using LYSTIT? I don't know what LYSTIT is. But I do sell on Dibdit and Shop Commons. If that answers your question. Yeah, I think eBay is trying to scam small-time resellers. I don't think so, Joseph. I think that the average person, just the psychology of humans, we're just too in and out before we always think the grass is greener on the other side, but truly the grass is green where you water it. And so if we aren't willing to get out the hose and actually water the grass where we're standing, it's just going to keep getting dried out and dead. And so we're constantly getting tangled in the weeds of jumping ship and doing this thing and then doing this thing and then doing this thing and then doing this thing. If you just do the same thing every single day for 1,000 days, you will make a tremendous amount of money in it. It's awesome. So Joseph, I encourage you to get out of your own way, to remove that mindset from yourself and understand that if you want to make money for yourself, you can do that. You just have to adapt. You just have to do what's necessary to get in there. Like a lot of people say the same thing about YouTube, that YouTube is against small YouTubers. And what in all reality, it's hard to break through that initial wall. And sometimes people just don't have the charisma to attract people to come in and watch their videos. But if you have that charisma and if you have that knowledge, or if you have that thing to offer that people want to actually spend time out of their day to watch you, even still breaking that initial wall is very difficult. So my strategy, knowing that, wasn't to just blame YouTube and say, it's going to take forever to grow on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like small creators and they don't give small creators a fair shot. I just went around that and made my own path. So what I did was I joined the Tech and Sports and Daily Refinement group, and I got my name out there as an authority of someone who knows a thing or two about eBay and reselling. And then I also bought things from Kevin the Commonwealth Picker, knowing that he would give me a shout out in his video that would reach 9,000 to 25,000 views, and that would get the ball rolling for me. And that's exactly what I did. I had a decent video. I had my best video at the time. It got 250 views because I was averaging like 17. I did 8 videos. No, I did 10 videos and my average views was 17. My 11th video got 250 views. And then in Daily Refinement's group, he kind of interviewed me for the last few minutes of his Wednesday live that they put out to the public. And then a lot of people saw me there and checked out my YouTube video. And that started to make it blow up a little bit. And then as that was creeping up, Kevin also gave me that little shout out that I bought for $11 grape salt and pepper shakers. And so with those two things combined, my YouTube career started to take off. I could have just sat there, kind of like Joseph, and said, YouTube doesn't want small YouTubers to succeed. I'm just going to complain and put it all on YouTube. But instead of doing that, I took things into my own hands and I did what was necessary. You can do the same thing on eBay. Instead of just listing the same thing that you've been listing forever and ever, you can go out and get items that have incredible value to people. There's so many ways that you can leverage. You can also leverage different platforms. You can go to someone who knows more about eBay than you and learn from that. There's just so many different ways that we can leverage what we're doing. We just have to sit down and think about what we're doing to get there. We have another super chat from Tim Jackson for $5. Appreciate you. Tim Jackson says, how many items should I have and when should I change my eBay to free shipping after I have a certain amount listed so I can take the hit of returns? Okay, so let me focus on the second question first. When should I change my eBay to free shipping after I have a certain amount of items listed so I can take the hit of returns? I don't recommend free shipping at all. I recommend doing a reasonable shipping charge for your items through calculated ground or through doing competitive flat rate shipping policies. You may have meant free returns after I have a certain amount listed so I can take the hit of returns. If that's what you meant, I would have free returns on immediately. It's going to help build authority within eBay's algorithm and also with the customers purchasing from you. How many items should you have is just, it's very different for each person. So Jonathan Durand, for example, he's in here a lot. He typically only has 80 to 150 items in his eBay store, if I'm speaking correctly, and he sells more than that every 90 days. Some people have me, for example, I have like 2,700 items in my eBay store, and it's pumping out the amount of money that I would like it to at that size. So there isn't like a magical store number. What you need to do is work backwards. So if you say, I want to make $500 per week, or $10,000 per month, or $100,000 per year, all you have to do is find out your sell-through rate and your average profit per item, and then you can just work backwards. So if you figure out, and I have videos on how to do this all throughout my channel, if you figure out that you want to make $500 per week, then all you have to do is figure out how much profit you make per item. Okay? So if you make $10 profit per item, then all you have to do is sell 50 items per week. 50 divided by 7 is 7.0125, somewhere around there, right? So you need to sell 7 items per day, Monday through Sunday. Now you need to calculate what your sell-through rate is. If you have 100 items in your eBay store and you are selling 100 items every 90 days, that means if you list 100 more items, you're going to sell 100 items every 90 days for the rest of eternity if you keep things exactly the same. So if you are selling 300 items every 90 days, then that means you are selling 100 items per month. If you divide that by 4, you are going to roughly know how many items you're selling per day. If you are only selling 5 items per day and you want to get to 7, then or if you want to get to 10, for example, all you have to do is double the amount of sales per day to 10. So if you have 500 listed, theoretically you would need 1,000 listed to get to your goal. But typically what happens is, as we try to chase 1,000 items listed, we sacrifice the quality of our items to get there, so the sell-through rate goes down. So what you need to be doing is checking what your sell-through rate is every week or every 2 weeks or every month, and making sure that it isn't dropping, and then you can consistently predict how many items you need to make how many sales you need. I can tell I'm getting a little bit tired. I think that made sense, but I don't think it made a ton of sense. So I definitely recommend checking out some of my YouTube videos. I would check out, if you make more than $100,000 a year, keep scrolling. If you make more than $100,000 a year on eBay, keep scrolling. Type that into YouTube. I should pop up with like a white graph and a green line on it. Watch that video. It explains it a lot better than I just did. Because it's pretty hot in here. The circulation to my office isn't very good, and the fan is too loud for the live. So, getting hot and tired. I've been reselling on eBay for a few months with minimal. Oh, sorry, I already read that. Mark, keep that up, dude. All right, I scrolled up a little bit. Let's see. Hey, Jake, just started selling graded cards. Should I ship those in padded envelopes reinforced with cardboard as USPS ground? Thanks. Yeah, that can work. You're going to need to, I would definitely, you can either, you can actually, yeah, what I would do is I would do USPS ground. If you want, yeah, I would just do USPS ground. Put it in a padded envelope. You can reinforce it with some cardboard and then some painter's tape like we do in the reselling in the card community. Yeah, it sounds like you already know what you need to do. That's what I would do. I've sold a few slabs, and that's how I did it. Love your videos. What boxes do you use to ship shoes? Whatever box fits, and I get them all out of dumpsters from Kroger and Dollar Tree. Hi, Jake. Thank you for all you do. You have taught me a ton of valuable info that I have used to grow as a new reseller. I appreciate that, Mark. That's all you, though. You did all that work. Black Monday just happened. It's the same every year. It's nothing to be worried about. Usually, yeah, no. I bought a lot on Monday, and I'm hoping that it keeps creeping down so I can get more good companies at a discounted rate. Just hopped on Deal Soldier. I've got to say that's a gold mine. Sweet. I'm glad it's working out for you. I make a ton of money with Deal Soldier. It sounds like you're going to start making a ton of money with it. Not everyone does. Everyone's different, have different skill sets, different amounts of time that you can put into it in different areas. So it's all relative to all those circumstances. But yeah, I'm glad it's working for you. It sure works for me, and I really like it. Is there a research function on eBay app like the website has? I think so. I think you're talking about like the Terapeak function, and it just barely went to the eBay app. I don't use it though. I just use sold versus listed. How far would you drive for the conference? None near mid-Michigan. I was expecting they would have one in Chicago. Do they stream and record the live questions, 15-minute things? Are you talking about the eBay conference? I've never been to one. I don't think I ever will go. Unless I was like invited, I'd probably go. But yeah, I'm invested in eBay, so I get their quarterly sales calls, and I think that's more valuable information than the conferences have to provide. OCD Priority has a box specifically for. Oh, you're answering a question. Yeah, they have flat rate boxes. Do you disagree with Flippin' and Easy's definition of sell rate? No. You can calculate sell rate however you would like to, as long as it makes sense. So a lot of times we all get tangled in the weeds of things that don't matter. So if you calculate sell rate in a way that is beneficial to your business, keep doing that. So the way I do it is, if I have 900 items in my store and I have 900 items sold in the last 90 days, I have a 100% sell rate store, which means all of the items in my store will be gone in 90 days. I know a lot of people that have 250 listed and 500 sold in 90 days, which means they have a 200% sell rate in 90 days. If 90 days goes by and they keep listing to maintain 250 items, 500 of them will be sold. 200% of that 250 will be gone. If there is an item that has 40 listed and 80 sold, and that 40 keeps getting replenished, all of them will be gone at a rate of 200% every 90 days. If you calculated that, that's cool. Yeah, if you want to calculate it his way of adding and dividing by all those numbers, if you want to do that too, that's totally cool. But the way that we calculate sell rate on eBay is inherently wrong anyway when it comes to business. All major businesses calculate their sell rate on a yearly basis, and we all calculate it on a 90-day basis because that's the most readily available information that eBay gives us. So why not, right? So if you want to calculate your sell rate on a day-to-day basis, if you have 3,000 items and 30 items sell, you have a 1% daily sell rate. Congratulations. If you want to do it a different way, where you also divide that against like 3 other measurements and you come up with a 0.33% sell rate, that's cool too. Whatever works for you. But if how you do things makes you more money, keep doing it. Quite honestly, I find it very ridiculous that it's like there's angst around the conversation of how people like run their business. If I don't know, like we spend so much time on things that don't move the needle for us when we could just be out there moving the needle. And the best way to move the needle is to find more items that people are interested in, to spend more time listing those items, and then to spend more time researching how to find more of them. All of this talk about promoted listings and how to calculate sell-through rate and how many photos you should use, and if there are best times to list on eBay, and what if you should delist, relist, and how often should you buy lots, and all stuff. What really matters is, are you finding items that people want to buy, and are you listing them consistently at a rate that they will move, at a price that they will move? That's all that really matters on eBay. But too many times we just get like caught up in all the stuff that doesn't matter. And I definitely recommend that you focus on like things that move the needle. So if you want to calculate sales rate a different way than me, or a different way than John, or a different way than whoever else does different calculations, because there's a ton of other different ways that people calculate sales rate, including how Target does. Target calculates it different than we do, but however you want to calculate it, whether you want to do it on a daily basis, on a store basis, on an item-to-item basis, on a yearly basis, on a quarterly basis, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I don't disagree with John's way of doing it, and I don't inherently agree or disagree with it. It's just It's just that the number that he uses to move his stuff. It's different than mine. I decided to list my competition's vintage water ski at local pickup only. I received a really good offer from Las Vegas. From Las Vegas. I'm in California. How would I ship? So, vintage water ski is going to be pretty long. So what I would do is, if it fits, I would go to a golf shop and I would say, hey, can I have a driver's box? I need to ship a long item to someone in California. I was wondering if I could buy one of those from you. They'll sell it to you for like $5 or $6, or more than likely they'll give it to you for free, unless they're kind of weird. I don't know. But most golf shops will give you a free box, which is cool. Put it in that. Plenty of bubble wrap. Make sure it's protected. Then go to pirateship.com. You don't need an account for this. All you need is just a credit card because you're going to just pay for the shipping. And then put in the exact measurements and that person's address. And then you're going to be able to print off a label for a discounted rate through Pirate Ship. Selling on eBay and Shopify and Amazon and all of these sites, we get discounted rates by going through these platforms. Pirate Ship gets those almost the same rates. Sometimes they're a little higher, sometimes they're a little lower, just depending on the item and where it's going. But you can capitalize on those business and platform rates just through Pirate Ship alone. So go to Pirate Ship, type in their name and address, put in your credit card. Going from Las Vegas to California. Did you say this city? Oh, it's going from California to Las Vegas, depending on where you are. If you're in like Los Angeles, shipping something that long and that weight heading to Las Vegas through the post office would probably cost you $36. By going through Pirate Ship, it's probably going to cost you like $16. All right, guys, I'm getting a little tired. I'll answer your questions for about 15 more minutes, and then we'll get out of here. So if you guys have any burning questions that you would like me to answer, the best way is to do a super chat. So I definitely see it, but I don't want you guys to feel like you have to pay me. So if you just want to put your questions in all caps again, I'll start from the bottom to the top and go from there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'll be answering them for the next 14 minutes. If I skipped over yours, please go ahead and put them in the comments right now, and then I will get to them. Question: do you do any personal consulting? I'm in a major city with a lot of abundance, and after I sell my liquidation starting inventory, I'd like advice on pathways to take sourcing to be more efficient. I don't do consulting. If you want to email me and send me an offer, you can, I guess. But all of the information that I give out is free. And I do my best to put out as much information for free as I can on YouTube. And I don't gatekeep. Like, I tell people about how I get all of my stuff, and they can compete with me if they'd like to. So all of the information is on YouTube. If you want to just like send me an email and pay me for my time, I guess, to really sit down and answer your individual questions, I guess we can do that. And I'm just jwrightflips@gmail.com. I'd also love to tell you about my old business I ran in 06 and 08. Nice. Sounds cool. How realistic is it to make $50K in your first year of selling without going full-time at it? Without going full-time at it, probably not realistic, but going full-time, easy. And I hate to offend people by saying easy, but yeah, like making $50,000 on eBay full-time is very easy. If you just do the steps necessary, you can definitely make $50,000 a year on eBay. I think it's much easier to make $50,000 a year on eBay than it is in your average side hustle. Like this is a very great opportunity to make $50,000 a year. Let's see here. I got over 9,000 listed, sold 100 in the last month, so approximately 300 after 90 days, so a 3% sales rate. Yeah, so that's, in my opinion, Lee, like, please don't be offended by this. That isn't where you want to be. I would really take a look at your business model and make some amendments. You don't have to like throw out all your 9,000 items. You can just keep those listed. But I would just have that as like your foundation now. And now I would only focus on items that have a fast sell-through rate. If you only focus on items that have a fast sell-through rate, you're going to sell much more than 100 per month, and you're going to make significantly more money. So you may be getting all of your items for free or close to free at the bins, but let's say that you're paying 15 cents per item. but you're only selling 100 items per day, 100 items per month. So you're listing, let's say 1,000 items per month times 15 cents, $15 in inventory, and you're selling 100, and let's say your profit is 10 bucks. So you're turning $15 into $1,000, which is incredible. What I think is even better though is spending $1,500 to make $2,000 in profit. Because spending $1,500, you're going to be able to do that in a week. So now instead of making $1,000 a month off of a $15 investment, you are investing $6,000, but now you're making $14,000 back and $8,000 of it is profit. So now you're spending more money, but you're making $8,000 instead of $1,000. That's an extreme example. You could just spend, and the way that thrifting and yard sales and things like that work is you can spend $500 to make $7,000. So what I would do, Lee, is I would, even if you have to spend a little bit more money or even considerably more money, I would invest in more profitable inventory that moves at a quicker rate. And instead of making $1,000 per month, now you're going to start making $3,000 and then $5,000, $10,000, and you can just slowly gain from there. Plus, you'll have your other 9,000 worth of your other 9,000 items of inventory trickle in and have sales here and there as well. Do you file quarterly sales and use tax, or does your CPA do that for you? Just had to file my first one last month. Yeah, I have my CPA take care of everything for me. So I have an S corporation with about 5 or 6 LLCs underneath that. I also have payroll and employees, and so I definitely pay a full-time CPA to run all that junk for me. Let's see here. In your past videos, when researching prices for sell-through rates, is there a reason you didn't use the Terapeak research option? Yeah, it's just not needed. Just use the 90-day sold versus listed. Because yeah, that's a more accurate. It's a more accurate demand and market for the item today. Things that sold for $150 3 years ago might only be selling for $80 today. Especially because of the pandemic. Like there were DVD sets that were selling for $80 during the pandemic that are only selling for like $18 today, maybe even like $11 today. So I would definitely just stick with the 90-day sold versus listed model. Sometimes the Terapeak, sometimes too much information is detrimental. So knowledge is power, right? The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. But a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, like we focus on different calculations of sales through rate, and we focus on different things that like impede us from finding more profitable items. Sometimes our knowledge holds us back from acquiring more power. So I think it's important to be constantly consuming information and learning as much as you can. But I don't think that the Terapeak information is necessary when the 90-day information is much more relevant, especially when it comes to things that we're selling for $18 3 months ago, but now are selling once or twice a month for $6 plus shipping. Just found a Phillips Stein double dial watch at a garage sale for $4 and then turned to J-Ride on. That's what I'm talking about, Corey. Good stuff. Some of these low feedback returns are usually done by resellers who have more than one account who swap bits out. Yeah, so Vinyl Guardian. You've been here the whole what's it called, live for an hour and 24 minutes. So you're dedicated to this, and I can tell that you're trying to better your future and stuff. Okay, so I say this with a lot of love. I say this to my dad all the time. Okay, you're towing the edge of like conspiracy theory, and that's going to hold you back from making more money. My dad sent out a $2 bill, and it never made it to the location. And so he had to refund that buyer, and he was out the $10 plus his $2 investment, right? So he was out $12. He almost let that destroy him. Now his 90-day total is over $13,000. He almost let that one hiccup stop him from making thousands and thousands of dollars per month, and his store is only growing, right? Right now, you're at a point where you're letting these returns emotionally affect you, and you're just sitting there thinking, it's other resellers, it's eBay, it's scammers, it's all of these people that are going against me, and it's making it impossible for me to make more money. I would highly recommend to step away from that and to just, hey, I made a sale. I'm still making sales. I'm making more money because I keep making sales, and I'm going to focus on making more sales. I'm not going to focus on the sales that got returned. Okay. Do what you got to do to, like, you know, make sure that you're moving forward. There's a really cool quote. And again, I'm saying this lovingly because I think you're awesome. You've been here for an hour and a half. You're killing it, right? It says, only a fool trips on what's behind him. So just keep looking forward. Don't go backwards. Don't pass a log and then go backwards and trip over the log and then keep going. Just keep walking, man. It sounds like you're doing great. Just be very careful of those tendencies where we as humans want to just sit and, you know what I mean? I hope that's making sense, because I really hope that helps you out, because it really helps my dad out. And it's something that I'm aware of and I stay away from, and I truly believe it helps me out. Let's see here. What is your thoughts on using AI to generate a description? Do you ever use the feature? First off, I don't use descriptions. I just put a period. You can check all my listings. Except for my eyeglass frames, I put frames only, lenses need to be replaced. I'll start using the AI descriptions when it like really starts to figure things out. So I do sell a lot of eyeglass frames. So I'll sell some Oakley's, frames only, lenses are scratched. And then the AI will put, these are some awesome ready-to-wear Oakleys. They're not ready to wear. You have to replace the lenses, you know? So it's just not there yet for me. Thanks for your help, J-Ride. Your 3 pillars talk really helped. I'm in the sacrifice stage for future profit. It's helped me to keep going and not give up. I appreciate you taking time to help us. Thanks. I appreciate that. I loved that live, and I hated the execution of it. Like, I watched it back and I just like talked in circles on a few of the points, and I said a lot. I've actually been really trying to improve my public speaking. I'm excited to rewatch this tonight as I fall asleep. I feel like I've said or like 80% less, and it's just because I've focused on it. The best tip for anyone trying to improve their right there, right? If you want to remove those, the best thing that you can do is just close your mouth. So every time you say a sentence, end with your mouth closed, because then nothing else can come out. But what we do as humans is we end our sentences with our mouths open. I'm kind of doing it to exaggerate a little bit. And when we do that, it lets out and then especially with how we're trained, especially as content creators with TikTok and stuff, you always want as least dead space as possible. And so we think if we have a little pause, we lose viewership. But what actually happens is when you have that pause, it creates more emotion. See, I almost said because I had my mouth open. And what happens is you say less ums and uhs, and you just sound like more of an authority. So that's something that I'm working on personally. And when you actually focus on things happen. Sorry for that tangent. No, you guys probably really didn't care about that very much. If an open box pair of Bose Ultra earbuds gets refunded and they have been slightly used, can I keep the 50% of it? Or is that for brand new items only? Thanks for the help. Open box pair of Bose and you can tell it's been used. That's up to your own discretion. I have done that before. It says up to 50%. And so by the terms and conditions, if you're a top rated seller and you're doing everything you can to ship out items on time, that is part of you can use the full amount whenever you would like to as part of your protection. So under the laws, I guess you could say, of seller protection, you have every right to withhold up to 50% plus the shipping. but it's up to your discretion of if you want to only withhold 10%, 20%, 40%, or the full 50. So if you'd like to, you can use 50% every single time. That's what the guidelines say. You use the word ton a lot. I mean, you say it a ton of times. I do use the word ton. Also, I use that on TikTok and stuff to trigger comments because people are like, that's so vague. And so yeah, I like to use that. But also it is definitely part of my Utah dialect. A ton. You missed Laws of Human Nature super chat. No, she I don't think I did. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Yeah, she popped in this one. Him or her, sorry. Okay, you did that, and then you did a second one. Hey, thank you so much for that. Thank you for, I hope you're still here. Laws of Human Nature. Says, my issue is processing. Heard you say you outsource everything but sourcing. Can you go through that structure? I don't have any employees on pace to 300K. That's awesome. First of all, congratulations on 300K. That is really cool. Not a lot of people get there, so you should be very proud of yourself. I have a lot of different part-time employees, and I was actually thinking about, instead of just telling them things to do, I didn't even mean to do that. Instead of telling them things to do, and I always train my employees, and there's always little hiccups and things that they do wrong along the way. Because I make content and because I get questions like this a lot, I was actually thinking about every time I correct employees or have little tips and tricks for them, I'll just make it into a video. So I actually have a video of tips that I'm going to be going over on how to train employees. So that'll be good. But yeah, when it comes to expanding through employees, I would definitely recommend getting someone to ship for you first. Okay, a lot of times, and I'm pretty much still on this word for word from Tech and Sports because this is his philosophy and my philosophy matches it exactly. A lot of times, and I've read this in a business book. I wonder if he's read the same one. But he says all the time, and I agree and say all the time as well, hire someone that allows you to double or more your output. Don't hire someone to just take away the job you hate the most. So a lot of us hate listing. And so we hire an employee to list for us, which isn't the most optimal thing to do. In my opinion, the most important employee, the first employee that you should get is a shipper, that they ship out all of the orders for you so you can do the two things that make you the most money: finding and sourcing the items and listing them. If your employee gets fast enough at shipping and has enough time to list, then I would also teach them how to list. And then, so that's what my part-time employees do. I have one part-time employee come in every day, and they ship everything out, and then they list, and then they clean items for me, and then they list them. So I would hire an employee to ship your items first. Then I would hire or train that same employee, sorry, to clean and prep the items for you to list. Then I would hire another employee or train that same employee to list your items. And then if you ever get to a point bigger than that, then I would start hiring employees to source for you as well. But sourcing is the most important thing in this business. You should never hire out for that until that's the last step. And then you want to move on to a different business and put the whole thing on autopilot, which I may get to one day as well. But yeah, start with shipping, then with processing and prepping, then listing, then sourcing. Can you go through that structure? So yeah, I think that answered your question, right? Appreciate you. That was awesome. I love that question. Netflix, a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. It says, this is more a creator question, but I stopped making I bought this item for $5 and turned it into $500 videos because the comments are always negative. Do you find it shouldn't matter and keep making them? Yeah, keep making them. You want to provide, there's two forms of content. There is educational and then there's entertainment. And obviously there's way more in between that spectrum, right? But yeah, don't let comments affect you. Principally, you should make content that you like, and then you should make content for your audience. Identify who your audience is, and then with a balance of what videos you like to make and what videos your audience likes to watch. Make those videos. As you make those videos, they are going to be fed to people who don't actually necessarily like your style or want to watch them, but they do anyway. Those people don't matter. So you need to clearly identify two things. First, you need to identify what content do you actually like making? And second, what content does your audience like? So you need to identify who is your audience. If the people making those comments are the people that you want as your audience, then you could, on paper, logically change the style of your videos. But it sounds to me like those aren't the people that are in your target audience, so don't listen to them when it comes to your content creation. If the people within your audience that you are trying to broadcast to are making these complaints and making adjustments on how they think you should make your videos, then you can take that into consideration. But at the end of the day, you need to make content for yourself and for your audience, and then understand that your videos will go past that audience, and you just shouldn't listen to the people past the audience that you want to grab. There's a ton of people that don't like Jay write books. Go into any of my videos and scroll through the comments, especially on Facebook and TikTok. I don't take into consideration what those people have to say. Donnie, becoming a member of the YouTube channel, appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's awesome. All right, guys, let's wrap it up here. Just got a few more questions. To be honest, I had issues with eBay due to the fees and possible issues with buyers of which felt they have more support than sellers and lost confidence. Now trying again, which niche do you think is best? So the niche, dang, I just said again. Your niche is going to be dependent on several factors, principally your knowledge and skill set, your area, and your connections with people that can get you product, plus your ability to overcome and adapt to circumstances. There isn't a best niche for eBay. It's not clothing, it's not video games, it's not anything. It's what you have available to you according to your knowledge, skill set, and area. So go out and find what's best for you. I don't recommend niching down. I recommend like niching down, but I don't recommend doing one niche or two niches. I recommend finding things that people want to buy and selling those things, which usually is an everything seller. Can annoyed buyers falsely report the items as counterfeit? Saw this recently happening very often after canceling the sale as the product which I sell was not functioning properly. Yeah, people can report things as counterfeit. People do it to my account all the time. But you just gotta keep rolling with the punches. And that's why I don't sell designer. Like I sell some pretty high-end sunglasses and eyeglass frames, but I don't sell bags. I sell some wallets here and there. But it's best to just stay away from Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all that stuff. As always, thank you so much, Jake. Have a great day. Flip in chat. Keep learning and growing. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out. There were a couple hundred people in here at once, which is really awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for everything you guys do for me. I'm just so truly humbled and grateful that you guys show up and listen to me talk about things on the internet. It's truly a dream come true. So thank you all for everything you do for me. Please understand that you guys are appreciated. And I just want to leave with this thought again. It's okay. It's okay to say you're awesome. It's okay to say you're good at your job. It's okay to say you're beautiful. It's okay to say you're smart. You should. It's not okay. It is necessary, and it should be said. You should tell yourself that you're awesome. You should tell yourself that you're good at this job. You should tell yourself that you're intelligent, because you are. So don't let society tell you that you are arrogant. Tell society that you are awesome. Appreciate you guys. Have an awesome